HOA Karen called the cops over my RV on my private driveway, so I banned all parking there forever. Do you know what entitlement looks like at 6:45 a.m.? It looks like an obese woman in fuzzy slippers and a crusty pink bathrobe standing outside your house, screaming at the top of her lungs while pointing at your RV like it's a bomb on wheels. I wish I were exaggerating. That woman was Karen. Not just a Karen, the HOA Karen. She wasn't a little nosy. She wasn't concerned. She was hostile. She was out for blood. And unfortunately, she lived 3 houses down from mine in what used to be a peaceful neighborhood until she got herself elected HOA president. We never voted. She just formed a temporary board, slapped on a badge, and boom, suddenly she was issuing fines and strutting around like the sheriff of the suburbs. And that morning, I became her newest target. My name's Cole, retired firefighter. Bought this house with my wife 2 years ago. And let me be clear, we are not part of the HOA. Our home sits on an original parcel of land built 10 years before the HOA even existed. We have our own deed, our own utilities, and most importantly, our own private driveway that the HOA has no jurisdiction over. And that's where I parked our newly renovated 1994 Winnebago RV. My wife and I had just finished a 3-month road trip across the West Yellowstone, Moab, all of it. I parked the RV on our driveway for the night to clean it out before moving it into storage. That was it. One night, Kara didn't see it that way. She called the police. I heard her through the window. Yes, it's a white RV with faded paint. Very suspicious. I think he's living in it. I don't feel safe. It's an HOA violation. That last one made me laugh. Because again, I'm not even in the HOA. I walked outside, still in my coffee-stained t-shirt, and said as politely as I could, "Karen, that's my vehicle. On my land. Please get off my property." She narrowed her eyes and huffed like a bull. "That thing is an eyesore. It violates the HOA's visual code. And don't think you're above the rules just because you hide behind some technicality." Technicality? I said. It's called property law. You ever heard of it? That set her off even more. 15 minutes later, 2 sheriff deputies pulled up. Now here's where it got interesting. The younger deputy was new, clearly nervous, clipboard in hand. But the older one, Deputy Andrews, he recognized me immediately. "Cole," he said, "you the guy who pulled a family out of a flood 2 years ago?" I nodded. "That's me." Karen's face twisted like she'd swallowed a lemon. "She's claiming this RV is in violation of some neighborhood ordinance," the younger deputy said. "Does the ordinance apply to his address?" Andrews asked. The younger guy looked through the file. "Actually, no. His parcel is separate, not under HOA governance." Karen exploded. "Well, then what's to stop him from turning this whole place into a junkyard? He's setting a precedent. Do you know what happens when people start leaving trailers everywhere? Crime. Lower property values." "You're standing on my lawn, Karen," I said. "Go home." That should have been the end. But of course it wasn't. Twist 1. The next day, I received a formal-looking envelope in my mailbox, no stamp, just slipped in. It was a $500 fine from the HOA Infractions Committee for long-term recreational vehicle occupancy. I laughed so hard I choked on my coffee. The letter was signed by Karen who, again, had no legal authority over my property. She'd even listed my address incorrectly, probably to fudge the boundary maps. So I did what any former firefighter with a love for documentation and a petty streak would do. I walked over to the county records office, pulled every single document tied to my property line, and highlighted the page that confirmed I was outside all HOA influence. I made 20 copies. Then I put up a 6-foot wooden sign in my yard. Private property not subject to HOA rules. Violators will be recorded and trespassers prosecuted. Karen lost her mind. That weekend, she held a community emergency meeting where she passed a new bylaw that said all visible recreational vehicles within 500 feet of an HOA street would be considered non-compliant, which obviously is not a real thing. She sent out flyers, posted warnings, even hired a tow company. Twist 2. The tow truck she sent? They tried to hook up my RV while I was at the store. Too bad for them. My neighbor has security cameras. Not only did they catch the entire incident on video, including the moment the driver realized he was on private land and panicked, but the tow company owner called me personally to apologize. "Sir, we had no idea," he said. "Karen told us it was her property. She even waived a fake permit." Fake permit. I sent the footage to my lawyer, and to the local news, and to the entire neighborhood group chat. The video? It went viral in town. Karen screaming at a tow guy while wearing Crocs and a sash that said HOA chairwoman, yelling about RV infestation. The neighborhood finally snapped. Karen tried to fight the backlash. She went online, claiming I had harassed her, that I'd manipulated county maps, bribed the sheriff's office, and weaponized my RV to intimidate the neighborhood. Yes, those were her actual words. She posted shaky videos, one of which featured her standing on her porch holding a mug that said HOA royalty while ranting about RV lawlessness. But it was too late. The neighborhood had already flipped. Several homeowners discovered they'd also been fined illegally, including one woman who got a $200 penalty for leaving a kayak in visible view on her own dock. Another neighbor came forward with proof that Karen had diverted community funds into building a concrete patio in her backyard labeled as HOA Community Lounge. A petition to dissolve the HOA hit 60% of the signatures within 72 hours. By day 5, 87%. Meanwhile, my lawyer filed a cease and desist, followed by a harassment lawsuit with attached damages for attempted trespass, false reporting, and HOA fraud. The video of Karen directing the illegal tow attempt aired on the local news alongside footage of the sheriff confirming my property was untouchable. Then came the emergency court hearing. Karen waddled in wearing a neck brace and a compression boot theatrics, I assumed. She claimed emotional damage, claimed I put the neighborhood in spiritual distress by hoarding vehicles. The judge? Not amused. He reviewed the land deeds, the HOA charter, the forged fines, the video footage. He paused only once when Karen accused me of building an RV empire and audibly chuckled. Then, with absolute clarity, he declared, "Karen Prescott, you and your self-appointed HOA board have operated outside your jurisdiction, violated state trespass laws, levied unlawful fines, falsified documents, and endangered private property." The judge awarded me $45,000 in damages, plus legal fees. But that wasn't the final blow. Karen's home, the one she'd borrowed against to fund her HOA beautification campaign, foreclosed. Turns out, she'd funneled community funds into the mortgage and claimed it as an HOA office on grant paperwork. Within a month, the HOA was fully disbanded. The charter voided. The Facebook group deleted. The board's treasury account drained, audited, and shut down. And me? I had my driveway repaved with bold stone inlays that spelled, in all caps, "Private. Drive. Forever." No parking signs lined the curb. Not out of pettiness, okay. Maybe a little, but out of justice. I banned all non-resident parking along my boundary line, legally, through the county. The irony? Karen's old house sat right at the edge. Her new tenants now had to park down the block and walk up a hill to their front door. As for Jasper the Winnebago, he lives comfortably in a brand-new custom-built carport behind the house. Polished, maintained, respected. Karen? She now rents a cramped condo across town. No HOA, no power, and rumor has a neighbor with 2 RVs and a backyard chicken coop. Funny how life works, huh? She called the cops because I parked an RV on my driveway. And in the end, she lost every inch of hers. So let me ask you, was she protecting the neighborhood, or just trying to control it? The end.